Well, hey there. So I have not made a video in like a month, which is super weird because I just came off of making a video almost every day during my 84 Days of the Artist's Way, which if you missed it, it's all in one playlist if you want to binge on my almost 84 Days of the Artist's Way. I say almost because I missed a few days. What are you gonna do? You know, progress, not perfection, right? But anyway, that really got me into this mode or this feeling of like what it's like to make a video every day. It's so weird to just be used to having in my daily routine of, okay, let's get on the camera, let's talk about what's going on, which was of course like for me to create updates and post videos on my channel and share with whoever was watching. But it was also a chance obviously for me to like process what was going on. And like a lot went on during my 84 Days of the Artist's Way, which I started in May and then I ended in early August. And when I had started in May, I started from this place of like, I know that I have to do things differently, but I don't necessarily know what that means. And I need to just be open to the idea that things have to be done differently. I had an idea in my head of how I wanted things to look and what I wanted my life to look like. And I had this whole idea throughout this year of what I expected things to be. And none of it was really panning out that way. And in the 84 Days of the Artist's Way, things did not play out the way I expected either. By the end of it, there were things in my life and changes in my life and new factors of my life that I never would have expected. When I step back and I look at it, right? Like when we do something significant, we kind of need to step back for like a month or so and then look at it and go, okay, what happened there? You know what I mean? That's gonna be my little excuse for not making a video for a while, is because I needed some time to really think about what the 84 Days of the Artist's Way were and what that experience was. And one of the things that really, I think really inspired me to turn on the camera today and to talk about this was this idea of integration. It's something that's a huge component of doing ayahuasca, which is something I did in 2015 and is a really significant part of my spiritual awakening and really even just like an awakening to who I really am, which I guess is one and the same, right? The real work starts when you come home. The real work starts when you return to your life with everything that you've experienced in the jungle or wherever you've done ayahuasca, and trying to then integrate all of that and all of those lessons you've learned and all of that healing you've done and all of those changes you're seeking to make. It's then about putting that into practice every day. And in some ways, this is no different than any other, retreat that you might go to, like a yoga retreat, or like when people do the Tony Robbins, seminar or something. It's like you come back all jazzed up and with all this energy and all this insight, and you're in this really incredible supportive bubble with people who are on the same page as you and who are like, yeah, we're gonna do this. We're like so empowered. And then I think what happens is then you come back and immediately it's like the sand in the hourglass. It starts to, unless you really stick to it and you really make changes, you do kind of slowly go back to the way that you were. I'm not saying everybody does that, but I know that it's happened to me, and I know that it happened to me coming back from Peru, was that I came back in a certain place, and then I think integration was just so fucking hard that I was not prepared. I was not prepared for how much work I'd have to do. And of course, I was coming back to all of these significant life issues and changes, like a relationship that had just ended and I needed to move out. And I was living in New York, and it was like I needed to leave New York, and my job wasn't working for me. Like there were all these things that tested my integration skills, probably past the point of my ability to keep up with it. It was a lot of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, which was a big concept that I was dealing with during my 84 Days of the Artist's Way. So all of this to say that integration is an experience I'm very familiar with and am going through it and have been going through it when it comes to the Artist's Way in the past month or so. And the sort of the phrase that keeps running through my mind, or the thing I keep thinking about when I think about integration, is this idea that the peeling is not the healing. And what that means is that essentially it's like there's a wound and you need to sort of peel back the layers and peel back whatever it's covered by and expose it to the oxygen and be able to clean it and be able to tend to it and be able to see it, and start that healing process. But just peeling back whatever is covering that wound, whatever it's been under, is not the healing process. It is the very beginning. And so when you do ayahuasca is one big peeling. And when you do the Artist's Way, it's one big peeling. And certainly some cleaning and healing, but you're in a structure, right? When I did ayahuasca, I was there for 2 weeks. I was at a retreat. I was in the jungle. It was all like, it was not my real life. And with The Artist's Way, of course, it's not quite so extreme, but you are in the model of this 12-week program and working through these different issues and these different ideas. And I think really the idea is that you then extract from that these new habits and these new things that you do in your life, and doing the morning pages every day. And sort of what I had said in my last 84 Days of The Artist's Way video, really like what I had said in the video was that the videos I would be creating after this are really the fruits of this labor, you know? That's really what I think The Artist's Way kind of sets you off to do, is to produce the fruits of your labor of these past 12 weeks. There was so much about the 84 Days of The Artist's Way that was about manifesting and me really understanding how manifesting worked. This is what I can tell you about manifestation after doing The Artist's Way and focusing on manifestation during The Artist's Way. I can tell you this, and this is just my own understanding of the experience, that there is the things that you manifest, and I'm still figuring this out, but it's kind of like there's two resources. There's what's in your mind and what you want to see happen and what's going to make you feel safe and what's going to make your ego feel safe, and you think, I'm just going to use all these manifestation tools to get that. And then there is like this subtle, almost unconscious energy that we emit of what we really want, of what we really need, you know, and what is really true for us. And I'm really exploring what that means, but basically what I'm trying to say is that it's almost like it's this non-intellectual, non-logical, non-verbal thing that all the noise, that all the radio signals we're putting out in our minds of what we want, what we tell the universe we want, those are not what gets responded to. That's not what gets heard. It's what we're emitting from our hearts, which I can't find a more, that seems a little trite of a way to say it. I can't think of a better way to say it, except when I look back, the stuff that I manifested came from this deep emotional need. You know, like just the other day, earlier last week, I was feeling like, man, I need to have some plans. I need to go do something. I need to have something going on this weekend. And it wasn't like this thing that I ruminated about and mused on for a while. It was just this deep emotional, I felt it in my heart, you know? And then lo and behold, like Saturday came along and it was like I had yoga in the morning, and then my brother and sister-in-law were going to be going to this market in a park like a block away from me that I was going to go to anyway. And they were like, hey, we're going to be there. Do you want to meet up? So I met up with them, and then I went out with my neighbor to go do this other thing, and I was hanging out with her all day. And all of a sudden I had this whole day of plans, and it just all kind of happened without me doing anything but feeling this deep need to be social. And I'm still trying to kind of understand, I want to understand the machinations of how it worked, I guess because my ego wants to be able to manipulate that and create that in the future and replicate that. And that's probably the wrong direction. I am starting to understand better how manifestation works, and that there is a deep connection to surrender, and that you really have to surrender to manifestation and surrender to that process and trust that it's not this thing that you can intellectually, logically create. It's this thing that you have to deeply feel. I would say that's probably the biggest thing I've learned from doing The Artist's Way was the power of manifestation. I have incredible synchronicities in my life now. I mean, really simple things, like I'm thinking about something and 2 minutes later or less, I stumble on either somebody else talking about it or a lyric in a song that's talking about it, or I see something online about it. It is just so common now and so easy. And I read that as really just a reminder from the universe. Hey, we're here. Hey, this, it's not all just what's in your mind. It's not all what's just in this narrow understanding of reality. There is some magic waiting in the wings. You know what I mean? And that's what I see synchronicity as now. The only other thing I would say about life after The Artist's Way is I did drop off on doing the morning pages. I know that I've made another video talking about the morning pages and how important it is to do them every day. I talk about it all the time. And what I can tell you from stopping doing the morning pages for weeks is that when I started doing them again recently, stuff started to make sense again. Stuff started to make sense again in my life. And so I guess that's to say that if you are doing the morning pages and you stop, instead of feeling guilty or ashamed of the fact that you're not doing the morning pages, use that as a litmus test of understanding what life looks like, how different it is to have the morning pages in your life versus when you don't have them in your life. I think that's the benefit of falling off the bandwagon, is you're able to tell the difference between what life feels like when you're on it versus when you fall off of it. And it encourages you to get back on. In terms of the idea of like creative unblocking and things like that, I would say that the rewrites for my play were really successful. Really, like the process of trying to tap into the part of me that writes, trying to sort of tap into that muse, trying to sort of let that intuition and that intelligence come through, because I am just a conduit. I really believe that like writing is just channeling, and I had a lot of opportunities to practice that in the month after doing The Artist's Way. I had a lot of opportunities to practice channeling that energy and understanding what doesn't work to channel that energy. And again, the running theme here is that when I try to force it, when I try to intellectually determine something and say, here's what it is, and try to figure it out in my mind versus just like letting that intelligence come through, which is often like when I'm like taking a shower or doing something really passive, you know what I mean? Like then all of a sudden I get this brilliant idea. Like learning how to reconnect with that and learning how to create, an opening for that intelligence to come through. That's really been an incredible process, doing these rewrites after doing The Artist's Way. Anyway, those are my thoughts post The Artist's Way. I look forward to having more of these sort of digital conversations with you. The best way to keep those conversations happening is to subscribe, leave a comment, and of course, if you really want to keep in touch and you really want to have more interactive conversations, you can join my free private Facebook group, The Awakening Artist Collective, and otherwise, I will see you next time. All right, bye.